Hey everybody, and welcome to the EV Cafe Takeaway. Yay, we're back, and I've got one of the wonderful members of the team with me, and it is the lovely JC. JC, you're on hold, buddy, but you're still here.
I wouldn't miss this for all of the tea in Tesco's. This is going to be off the scale, brilliant.
Well, that's a big build-up for one of our next guests from the innovator, pioneer, collaborator, just somebody that is inspirational, and we'll come on to that later. But it is the wonderful Evelyn Tourish, Customer Service Experience Director for Europcar. That's it. Are you from somewhere? I just couldn't remember where. Evelyn, it is great to have you. Just for those people that have lived under a rock and don't know the details behind you, Evelyn Tourish, please tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Okay, well, good morning, gentlemen. It is absolutely fantastic to be invited onto the podcast with you both. And JC, I hope I can live up to the expectations with that amazing introduction. What about me? So, yes, I work for Europcar Mobility Group, or Europcar UK, and I have done so for the last 32 years. So I have. So it's amazing.
Child labour in Europcar. This is breaking news.
Absolutely. Honestly, it's good for the soul. But yeah, I often tell my friends that I am very lucky because 32 years working for one company, and I still love getting up in the morning to do my job.
Why? What is it that you do, Evelyn? Why is Europcar so special?
Yeah, so in my role as a customer experience manager, and I've had many roles throughout my career in Europcar and sort of like progressed to the senior management level. But for me, car rental, it really does get under your skin. It is so diverse, and it's constantly sort of like moving forward. So for me, no 2 days are the same. And it certainly keeps you busy, that's for sure, especially coming through the summer peak there as well, which I call the silly season. And if we all come out of the silly season with a smile on our face, then we've done really well. So it's such a diverse business. From a customer experience perspective, then for me, it should be absolutely streamlined, it should be simplified, and there shouldn't be any friction for our customers from the point of where they make the booking to they receive their invoice at the end of it and then come back to bank with us again and again and again. And that's what I love about it. I speak with many customers and I deal with many customers, and yes, customer experience, delivering customer expectation. We might not always get it right, but what we do and what we're very passionate about is making it right. And that's what I love when I see customers coming back time and time and time again, and that loyalty towards Europcar. That's what drives me.
If you operate a fleet of cars or vans, you'll know electric is the future. Transitioning to EVs can be daunting, but with Europcar, it's effortless. Our long-term EV rentals eliminate the upfront costs, contract commitments, and uncertainty. Instead, you'll get total flexibility, a wide choice of cars and vans, and Europcar's expert support. So, make the switch without the stress and experience Europcarma. Search Europcar Business.
And even, we have never seen times like this, right? A world of change. I mean, 32 years with one company, and I'm sure there's been changes within the company, but have you ever seen anything like what is going on in the industry at the moment? And how do you see Europcar adapting to these changes?
Yeah. It's very, very challenging, very competitive. And we've been through a lot as an industry, as a lot of industries have to, especially sort of like over the last 6-7 years as well. Now it seems to be businesses as usual in terms of businesses getting back to doing what they do. But in terms of the economy and what's going on around the world, then it is extremely challenging. For us, it's all about, for me, in terms of going forward and how we continue to improve our business and our services, then it's all about digitisation. It's all about the technologies. It's all about just keeping pushing, sort of like to just deliver our best for our customers, and making sure that we just reduce those touch points, make it a smooth digital journey, and a frictionless journey as well as continuing to provide the excellent service that our teams do.
Yeah, and when you think about this, the transition to electrification in the middle of all of the sort of economic side of things and the sort of business environment in general, we've got this challenge, this huge challenge within automotive around electrification. Now, you guys are doing some sterling work in this space because obviously you've got to meet the challenges of business. Talk us through just a little bit about how you're helping people embrace a zero emission future that we all hope for.
Absolutely. As well as my role as customer experience manager, I also look after the whole electrification of our UK network. So I've been responsible for making sure that all our stations have the infrastructure installed to allow us to charge electric vehicles, making sure that we turn them around and making them available for customers. And I also monitor that through our NPS surveys and the comments that customers give us back. And what I can see now is that more and more customers are adopting EVs. Our colleagues are comfortable and confident in presenting EVs and the benefits and the added value to our customers. Because more and more, we see more and more EVs on the roads now, where we didn't necessarily, so say 2 years ago. So more and more people are actually driving EVs by choice as their own vehicle. So when they come to actually rent a vehicle, customers are actually looking to rent an EV also. So we need to make sure that we're agile enough that we can turn around EV fleet quick enough. Currently, I think we've got around 14% of our fleet mixture between EVs and FEVs, so BEVs and FEVs. And if I look at our whole infrastructure across the UK, around about 60% of our network already have their own charge points installed. And that's the whole network. If I stripped the airports out of that and just solely looked at our downtown network, then we'd be running about 80%. And that's way above the industry average for any car rental company to have their own charging infrastructure. One of my frustrations, and I'm sure you would share this with me, is that I can only install EV charge points in our locations based on the grid capacity. So it's AC charging. Now, I am on a mission to have that upgraded to DC charging because we need to turn around. The model of our business is that quick turnaround of our vehicles. If vehicles are sitting in our car park on the tarmac, then it's not commercially viable for us. So we need to be able to turn those vehicles around quickly. And I think one of the learnings for the business is people understanding sort of like the charging capacity of electric vehicles, because it's not just a case of having a DC charger. It's, well, how big is that battery? What's the condition of the battery? What is the starting point level when you're charging the vehicle? So we know that's sort of like 20% sort of like pinch point at the beginning of the charge and at the end of the charge as well. So as people understanding that all adds to the charging time and also costs to charge the vehicle as well. And again, we have our price parity commitment, whereby we provide electric vehicles at the same price as our diesel and petrol vehicles as well. So we're committed to making these vehicles available for our customers. And again, when I look at the NPS results and I compare them against normal ICE vehicles and electric vehicles, our customers are loving the electric vehicles. We're about 10, 12 points above the normal NPS score when you separate it out. What customers don't love, and again, you will share this with me. Sorry, you set me off on one because I'm so passionate about this. is the lack of charging infrastructure, public charging infrastructure, especially in destination charge points as well. And again, if you think car rental, and again, just coming through the summer, the silly season, then we get a lot of inbound tourists, we get a lot of consumer tourists who want to go out and about and visiting the lovely British countryside. And we really need the governments to step up and really invest in these destination charge point areas and making sure that they are sort of like ultra fast charging points, because again, that downtime, when you're on holiday, that downtime, that's precious time that you want to be doing other things with.
Evelyn, you're clearly a force of nature. You have always been that bundle of energy that gets stuff done. Were you like that from very, very young? And you were, almost badged as somebody who was difficult to kind of get to do stuff and pin down, or were you a bit of a girly swat and just were brilliant at everything?
Yeah, I was definitely not a girly swat. So yeah, I came through school and I done not bad, but I could have done better, as probably a lot of my report cards would have read. And I think that was down to
Same
me
here.
talking. If I'd have talked less, then I would have been, I'd have got on a lot better. But I think, I've always had the drive and determination. I'm very inquisitive. I am so inquisitive. If I don't know something, then I make it my mission to learn that. So a lot of it is sort of like self-taught through my own drive and determination. I think just throughout my career, I've had lots of people who I've looked up to on a personal level, but on a professional level as well. And I feel that when I engage with people who are just as passionate as me, then I find that very inspiring. So again, like the whole sort of like EV platform, my goodness, JC, you and I met, I think we said earlier on, about 15 years ago. And that was Europcar back then. We were the early adopters of
Absolutely.
electric vehicles into the rental market. No other car rental company had brought EVs on. And in fact, we were way sort of like, but we were way in front of for EVs back then than what we still are now, leading the way. But we'd adopted, I think it was the Peugeot Ions. I think we had about 7 of them.
That's right.
SSE had opened up their new fabulous buildings in Glasgow, and the lower level was all glass frontage, and it was an EV charge point. And we had gone into agreement. I think I was territory manager at the time, and had discussions with them, and we agreed to supply electric vehicles that would sit in their forecourt and would be used by SSE employees to travel up to Perth and back down, etc., etc. And that then gave Europcar the platform into the EV world. And Europcar was invited along to Edinburgh. So there was a big meeting with the Scottish Government and the World Wildlife Federation. And that's where JC and I had first met.
That's right.
And I have to say, I wasn't the first choice to come along to that meeting and present on behalf of Europcar. At the time, I actually went to our then fleet director, who didn't want to do it. And then went to a regional director who, at the time, and I can say this because he's not been with the business for a long time now, but really didn't know anything about EVs. So it then came, I was sort of like third best, it came onto my lap, and I was like, hey, do you want to go along and represent Europcar? And I was like, oh my Lord, I really need to brush up on my homework. And yeah, so went along, presented the EV world of car rental to a really distinguished audience, I have to say. I felt extremely privileged, and JC made me feel really at ease, although I was not at ease, especially when I think it was the Nissan guy who went before me and basically got stage fright and couldn't speak. He literally couldn't speak. And I thought, oh my goodness, I'm up next. How am I going to lift this? But yeah, so I talk a lot, so a bit of it I winged it as well, and got rapturous applause at the end of it. So I think I did okay.
I need to just correct the story. So
Okay.
the government is very hierarchical, And I knew that I needed Evelyn Tourish. My bosses said, well, let's get the most senior person we can, fleet director, who gave it the rubber elbow. And then it was down to the regional director, rubber elbow. And then I got my wish. Evelyn Tourish.
Ah, uptime lucky, JC.
Can I just say, you need rapturous applause for putting up with JC for 15 years. But
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Just goes to show Evelyn's got really thick skin.
absolutely, they're tough up there in Scotland, aren't they? Right? Ooh,
They
go
certainly
on.
are.
Absolutely. But that's on that point. We've sort of mentioned that you're an inspirational character, and I think anybody listening to this already can hear this sort of bubbly strength, this determination coming through in your commentary. And curiosity for me is kind of the only way that I exist. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I was like you at school, could do, but well, when I was there, I could do better. I talked too much. I got thrown out. You know, I argued with the teachers, all of that sort of stuff. But curiosity saved me, you know, and curiosity has driven you. But life isn't always easy. And you mentioned, so I've done a little bit of research, just a little bit, because John knows you. I had to do some research. And you spoke to an organisation, Protivity, something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
Yep.
and you said challenges that don't break you build your strength and resilience. And
Yeah.
you strike me. Well, I mean, to put up with JC for 15 years, I mean, that's resilient in itself.
A challenge
I mean,
in
you know,
itself.
that challenge, resilience, you know, everything, you know. But it obviously hasn't broken you. How? Talk to me about challenges throughout a career, 32-year career, but also, you know, life in general. And give us a little taste of how we can all adopt this little bit of strength that you've definitely got running through you.
Yeah, so I think in a professional capacity, there was a period in time whereby Europcar had bought out another car rental company, and at that time, it was really challenging. I was regional manager at the time for Scotland and the North East, and obviously buying another car rental company, you then had duplication of positions within the business. So everybody knew that there was going to be change. And so everybody was feeling very vulnerable, but I still had a team that I had to lead and drive and keep them motivated to keep the business going. And I very much see when you build a team, the team you build is going to deliver the successes, and that's a reflection back on you as well. So it's in your best interest that you build the best team around you and for the business. So I was very confident in my team, but I was then adopting another team that I had no exposure to, so therefore didn't know how they worked. There was different systems and everything that we used. So at that point, from a career perspective, I would say was probably my most challenging time, because I had to get up every day, put my game face on, and drive the teams. I had to quickly get to know the team that I inherited. And well, before I inherited the team, I myself went through a selection process. And again, for me, that was very, very difficult in my career. I had not long, I think a year into having been promoted to regional manager. And so I felt very vulnerable, thinking, oh, I was the last one out. So the last one in, so I'd be the last one out. And thankfully that wasn't the case when I was up against selection, against my peers and the peers from the other company as well. Then, yeah, I just kept going. I kept focusing because I felt this is going to be a true measurement of me and my resilience. And if I let go now, then, it's not good for me. It's not good for the team. So, yeah, I just kept focused and kept going. And that took a lot of tenacity. A lot of strength, a lot of inner strength as well, because for me, the choice was out of my hands. I didn't know what way it was going to go. The choice was completely out of my hands. And when you make a choice to move on from a company or a job, then you're in control, whereas someone else was making that decision for me. So again, I felt very vulnerable, but I did not want to let my team down. And I did not want to let myself down either. So I just kept going. So that was one of the biggest challenges in a work capacity. And I guess just for me personally, life is a challenge. And it's different as you go through life and you go through sort of the different cycles of life. It's very challenging. My most recent sort of like emotional challenge was when my daughter, who's 27, moved out in November with her boyfriend and bought their first house. And people would say, or you would hear people talking about empty nest syndrome. And I just thought that was something that was thrown out there. But oh my God, it's such a thing. It's such a thing. And I actually felt bereft after she had moved out. And it was my husband said to me, he was like, Evelyn, like, you're really going to have to get a grip here. And I was like, but you don't understand. I was like, every morning for 27 years, I've said good morning. And every night for 27 years, I've said good night. I'm not going to be able to say good morning or good night to her. And when I tell my friends that as well, and they're very straight with me, and they're like, come on, Evelyn. They're like, she's only just moved round the corner. So,
But Evelyn, so here we've got this resilience, this tenacity, this determination to kind of press through, and obviously you've used the word vulnerable a number of times, the vulnerability, and it's a skill to be able to embrace and step into being in a vulnerable position and still hold yourself together. For me, this is a thing that is learned and a thing that is experienced and built up over time. This feels like that this is the culmination of something. Are there events early on in life, because that gave you the strength, where you had to learn this for the first time?
well, I just think life's full of learnings, isn't it? So from a very young age, if I think my mum and dad's like they were sort of like blue collar background, and we moved when I was probably about 9 or 10 years old. I didn't want to move, going to a new place, going to a new school, having to make new friends. So you quickly learn sort of like how to deal and adapt to that. Sort of like coming through school, leaving school, I left to train as a hairdresser. Decided that wasn't for me. That's what my mum done when she left school, and but I decided that wasn't for me. I'd always wanted to join the police, but back then there was height restrictions, and back then I was 5'3". I'm now 5'2". That's an age thing. JC, I don't know what height you started off in life, but
7'9". Paul's worn me down to 6'4".
yeah, so back then I couldn't qualify to join the police, and everybody, certainly work or whatever, do reference me as Inspector Tourish. So I then decided to join the Royal Navy, and again, like, what more in terms of joining the forces to learn that real grit and determination for facing life's challenges. And I was really proud of that. I was chosen as the best Scottish Wren in training, and I wasn't just the only Scottish Wren at that time. So
There was two of you.
it was 50-50.
Somebody flipped a coin. Sorry, that was terrible. Oh, goodness.
So John will know this in terms of the Daily Record, which is the Scottish national newspaper. And they came down and done a feature, and I was centrefold in the Daily Record.
Oh, I've got to get a copy of that.
Check you out.
Dig deep right into the archives for that one.
That's
But yeah, life's for
fantastic.
learning, and again, you absolutely need to move with the times. So like if you don't roll with the times, you become stagnant, don't you? So I just love what life throws at you. I've always got a positive attitude in how I look at things, and again, just like even if you sort of like look at the world now, and it's all about AI technology, and I'm absolutely loving that, because I'm like, oh my God, like what? How can you use this? What can you learn from it? And I think it is very much for learning, and you can have a bit of fun with it as well. And I hope you don't mind. Would you mind if I sort of like just quickly shared my screen just now, because I've been having a little bit of fun with this while we've been
Wow, we
on
love
there.
a first. We love a first. I don't even know how you
Oh.
do it.
You don't?
Do you know how to
You've got a lot of lemons. Oh no, I've checked it out, so I've done my homework. So let's
check
have
this out? I love this. Come on,
right,
bring it
hold
on.
Right, no, I might crash and fail now. So hold on. So while we've been on screen, or just at the very start of it, right, let me show my screen.
She's a nightmare.
This is
Who agreed to
dangerous.
this podcast? Who agreed to this?
No, some idiots. Oh, hang on. Right.
Can you see my screen?
We can.
Oh, there we are.
Oh, that's
So,
magnificent.
So I took a
I love
screenshot,
it.
create an image of
I love it.
us as a superheroes.
I'm just so glad that I've got a beard, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to tell me and John apart.
That's
So
brilliant.
yeah, for me, just life is for living, life is for learning, and then again, just when you look at AI technology, then yes, it can help in it from a business perspective, and it helps me in terms of with customer feedbacks, identifying trends, etc., etc. But yeah, it can be used for a bit of fun as well.
Oh, Evelyn, you've stolen our hearts. I just love that. We've had the tables turned on us once or twice. Interestingly, and I don't know if there's any relevance to this, but interestingly, always by women. It's women that just absolutely. The one that stands in my mind was Carla DeTrue. Yeah, and she turned and started asking us questions. We're like, what? Get out of it!
okay.
We don't answer these questions. Oh, it was great, but that was fabulous.
Brilliant.
I've been sitting here, and I am not in my personal life as sociable as I am sometimes in my professional life. But I've been sitting here thinking, gosh, if I was to have a dinner table and I was to write a list of the people I'd want to be at that table to make it an interesting evening, you two would both be on that list.
Oh, thank you.
So we've got a table of 3. Who else, Evelyn, would you want? Who else would you invite to be at a table for a dinner that
do you know,
would make you feel good?
Yeah, do you know, I have I was recently asked this question. We were doing a sort of like who's who and work for our company newsletter, and I was asked that question, and my response then is exactly my same response. So I would love my mum to be sat at that dinner table. So yeah, so sadly, what will that be now? 12 years since my mum passed. And there's so much that has happened in that time. I'd love to sit and hear her voice again. I'd love to tell her what's been happening with her grandchildren, not just my daughter, but our other grandchildren as well. So yeah, I would love the opportunity to sit at a table with my mum again.
I love that.
Oh,
So family's
gosh.
important to you, clearly. It's
Very
a
much,
big
yeah.
foundation for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, like we're a very close family, strong family values. And yeah, we're always there for each other. So always there supporting each other and rooting each other on.
There's a massive movement in our industry with women in EV, and you are one of the most inspirational and capable people I have ever come across in this industry. And I wonder, how does the world get more Evelyn? How do we get more of you out of Scotland? Because I know you've got this geographical, UK remit, but we don't see you enough at the things
We can make that happen.
Yeah, because I just think you have a massive part to play in encouraging young people, women, to come into our industry, because you think about our industry in a way which is exciting and inviting and makes us want to go and make change happen. How do we do that, Evelyn?
Well, I can absolutely make myself available for a fee.
Paul, check down the back of the sofa, mate.
Hang on. There you
I've got
go.
20p if
One
you've got change.
£20 note. There's all yours.
Does Caroline know you've got that?
Well, you
Oh, no. Shh, it's in the drawer. It's hidden. It's down here. It's my rainy day fund.
No, I'm only kidding. But yeah, I mean, absolutely. So we spent time together a couple of years ago on the EV rally, which was just amazing when we traveled across the 5 countries. And again, for me, I wanted to be very much involved in that. And again, sort of like working with my other female colleagues as well who came along for the ride and the experience and just to showcase people that yes, we do have a good infrastructure in the UK. It needs to be better, but we've got a good infrastructure across the UK, and we all set out to prove that with our 50 odd vehicles, sort of like cars, vans, motorbike. I loved the motorbike that Sarah was it Sarah's bike or did Sarah just get a shot on? But
That was the
Yeah, it was
Maving,
Sarah
wasn't
and
it?
Sam. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool actually. So absolutely women should be sort of like really spearheading along with everyone else in terms of EV adoption and what that means. It's absolutely the future. It's not going away. And yeah, I attended the Women in EV event as well, myself and one of my colleagues, and that was really interesting just to sit in a room with like-minded females across the industry and discuss experiences and opportunities in terms of what we can do to help sort of like lobby this as well. So
And I mean, is it something because Europcar seems to be I mean, you know, we were talking to Tim Morris earlier, earlier in the month or a little while ago, and you know, he's been with the business for forever. And I remember coming down to film, and I have to say, I remember very fondly working with you guys to film, and your energy is great when you turn up every time. But anyway, that enough praise. But the point I was wanting to make was, it feels like a place that really wants people to come on, and there's an energy like within you and within the team that just wants people to grow and come on. Is that something that people are bringing?
Yeah, very much so. So for me, it's all about the culture. So what I do in terms of customer experience manager is not just for external customers; it's internal customers as well. So all of my colleagues, and if you look at Europcar in terms of the biggest sort of like employee audience is in operations. So again, for me, it's really crucial that when we onboard our team, that we invest in them right from the start. And that goes from their training, their development, how we communicate, how we engage with them, how we recognise them, how we reward them. And it's absolutely a culture which is instilled within Europcar. And that is driven by Kevin Rand, our operations director. So he has sort of like the same want for our teams, and Kevin and I work very, very closely in that respect. So again, we 32 years with the business, I wouldn't have stayed in the business as long as if I didn't like the people that I work with and work for. Our leadership team are very engaged, very in touch with our teams. I run we have a top 60 leadership program, and I run a CX 360 program from that. So that's customer experience, 360-degree view, and each one of our top leaders are invited out to immerse themselves a day in a life in operations. And we put them to work. I mean, we had Gary Smith, our managing director, who visited our Luton Airport and Luton downtown location. And Gary was out cleaning cars. Gary doesn't need to go out and clean cars, but Gary was out cleaning cars. Gary was spending time speaking with our customers and genuinely taking an interest in caring what our customers, the experience they receive. Again, spending time behind the counter with our agents and our fleet teams, sitting through the back with our fleet teams in terms of learning the logistics and how they make it happen, making sure we've got the right vehicles for the right customer. So yeah, and I'm very proud of that for our leaders to come out and immerse themselves a day in the life of operations. And they love doing that. And again, we get great feedback from the teams. It means so much from the teams on the ground to have them come out and really immerse themselves. And again, even me myself, so when I go out to stations, and uniform standards and queues are my bugbears when I go out to the stations. So when I started off in car rental, I was a rental sales agent at Glasgow Airport all those years ago. And so when I go out to a rental station, and if there is a queues, because queues happen through peak times of the day, peak seasonal months as well. So I'll jump behind a counter and I'll start serving a customer, and the teams are like, oh my God, Evelyn's serving a customer. So again, it's just like we're all hands on. So if a job needs to get done, everybody is very much hands on and helping the teams and supporting the teams any which way they can. So yeah,
Brilliant.
I love it.
Love that.
It's well, that's it. It's one of the reasons I think why we all work so well together is that you are the complete package of an organization that is very focused on the customer. And part of the task that you have as an organization is to stand out, because there are a lot of car rental and vehicle rental businesses, but there's only one Europcar. And it goes right back to, Paul and I have been lucky enough to go to Mattioli Woods, Welford Road to see Leicester Tigers and the stand or the graphics. That puts Europcar front of mind. I came on holiday yesterday on an EasyJet flight, and I could not believe it when I saw it. But along the side of the jet was Europcar.
Yeah.
I thought, they've sent their private jet for me.
Why, of course.
But that tracks through. So you are seen at very many places where you're not expected. And then you deliver on the promise when you get into the branch, when you go and see the people, and they give you that one-to-one service, which is outstanding. And I've experienced it as a normal customer, not just as somebody who wafts in and says, oh, hello, where's my Tesla? But walked in unknown to anybody. And the level of service that I get is phenomenal. I've never had a bad experience, never had a question that hasn't been answered. How do you get that consistency from people?
So, I mean, a lot of us, and especially me, are sort of the biggest brand advocate ever for Europcar. So like when I see Europcar brand, and again, when I fly in out of Glasgow Airport and you see the Europcar plane, or when I go on holiday and I'm like, oh, that's a Europcar desk, let me just go over and speak to the team. And like my husband, my family's like, Evelyn, like you need to stop doing this, you're on holiday. So it's like, I'm just so proud. So very big brand ambassadors. And for me, it's really, really important that we serve a lot of customers from different demographics, from different countries, So it's very, very important for me that we don't treat every customer the same. Every customer has their own individual needs, their own individual expectations, and we can't sheep that all of our customers as if they are the same. So we need to make sure that we engage with our customers, that we have a conversation with the customer, and we make that customer feel that they're the only customer in our location. Despite of another customer beside them or behind them, it doesn't matter. Every single customer should be treated the same. And when we go out and we have discussions with our team, our training, our coaching, etc., it's all about the focus on that customer there and then.
Do you know what, Evelyn? You and your teams around you are machines. You just seem to ooze this determination to focus on customers, and it seems that you are utterly committed. 32 years committed to all of that sort of stuff. What are you most proud of?
What am I most proud of? Probably two things that I'm most proud of as so when we do go back to sort of like the COVID times, that was very new for everyone. Nobody had ever experienced that. And I was asked, so obviously customer experience manager, I'm thinking, oh goodness, if we don't have any customers, then where does that leave me? A lot of my colleagues were being put on furlough, and that would be my worst nightmare. I don't sit still. I need to keep myself going. I absolutely do not sit still.
Shocker.
For
Who'd
it.
have guessed?
Who knew?
So I thought, oh goodness, what does this mean for me? So, however, I had a chat with my boss, who actually came to me and said, we need to understand more about COVID. We need to understand how we protect our customers, how we protect our colleagues, etc. So I was given the remit to make contact with either local governments or NHS contacts to find out more about this, because it was all just very new, certainly new to us in the UK. So I made that my mission. So I done my research, I tracked down key contacts, I badgered them to speak to me. And I was very lucky, because it was so very early on that a lot of the contacts who I reached out to were really keen to help and support and help us learn. So I got to work and created our company guidelines. So I created a whole sort of like COVID guideline document. Again, very lucky, my daughter's boyfriend was an architect, so he actually created sort of like designs and imagery for how the station should be laid out, etc., for colleagues and customers and all that as well. So, and I was very, very proud of that. And that was recognised by the BVRLA,
Oh,
who had
amazing.
reached out
Mm.
and asked if I could help and support them create the overall
Wow.
industry for car rental industry guidelines. And I think if you even go onto the BVRLA website and search COVID guidelines, it's still there. But of course, BVRLA, our industry body, they need to be fair to all car rental companies. So when they sent me the final draft through, and I was looking at it, and there was some images of car rental companies, and I couldn't quite understand why there was more images of one other car rental company over Europcar, because it was Europcar who had done a lot of work in terms of consultation with them on it. So that was quickly changed, and Europcar are
They learned the error of their ways.
and Europcar are
They are
proudly
indeed.
presented in that document. And so that was one of my biggest moments. And then just recently, again, for me, it's all about the customer journey. And I love nothing more than stripping. So if a customer complains, I want to know why. I want to know, where have we let the customer down, or how has the customer misinterpreted the expectations? Have they had too high an expectation that was just never going to be delivered, etc.? What can we do differently? Where can we learn from this? So I absolutely strip everything back and rebuild it back up to understand, where's the pinch points, where's the pain points, what can we do better, what more information do we need to provide to the customer for them to prepare themselves more in terms of them setting their own expectations. So part of the work that I'd done, and with our head of business services as well, is that we wanted to understand, when customers reach out to Europcar, what is it that they want help with? So a lot of that research that we've done, and we used an external company using AI technology as well, is that we mapped customers' contacts into Europcar. And from that, we identified that our customers needed a lot of during rental support. So where we get our most phone calls is when customers are out driving our vehicles. Now, a lot of information was there, but it was causing a lot of phone traffic into our business, and for our customer services team to then impact that information to the customers. So we got together as a project group, and I said, why don't we create a tool? Why don't we create an app whereby it provides customers with all of that support and information so that they can self-serve more? And again, I think that's a big responsibility for customers. But some customers will always reach out and want to speak to someone, but some customers do like to self-serve without reaching out. So we done a lot of work, and we created our Europcar Assistance tool. So it's not an app, because I didn't want that to be a barrier for customers having to download an app and then upload all their personal data, etc., etc. The During Rental app was a tool that, as and when they needed that support, then they could just scan the QR code and go straight into it. So it's web based, and yeah, so every year, Europcar Group run customer experience competitions. So every country is invited to submit what they have created to help the customer experience. And we were up against some really strong competition from all other countries. And the UK, we got down to the final three. We had to go over to Paris, and I presented the Europcar Assistance Tool to our top board, and the UK won gold for it, and I was absolutely delighted. So yeah, and then the following year we won gold again. So
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
two gold trophies in a row for Europcar UK initiatives to improve the customer experience. So I was absolutely over the moon.
Evelyn, you are a remarkable person, and I wonder, why do you care? Why aren't you just apathetic like an awful lot of people in industry and things just wash over you and you just go, whatever? You never do that. Why do you care?
So I care because it matters to care. I think when you're in a service delivery company, then if you don't care about your customers are going to go elsewhere. So at the end of the day, customers that come through our doors certainly keep me in a job. And therefore, that's one of the reasons why I care. But I also care because to do my role, then you always put yourself in the customer shoes. When we have our customer experience meeting with the UK board, again, we always ensure that everything we discuss is with the foremost thought of the customer. So everything is driven by our customer wants, and that's why I care. Because if I went to a car rental company, which I've recently done through a mystery shop that I undertook, which was very interesting. So when I go to a car rental company, when I go to a hotel, when I go to a shop, any services, then do I want to be treated as an individual customer? Yes, I do. I have very high standards.
Oh, indeed.
No,
And,
really?
and by no way a diva. I'm actually a very good customer. But for Europcar, I have very high standards, and I always tell the team that we treat our customers the way that we wish to be treated ourselves, and always put yourself in the customer's shoes and ask yourself, would you like to receive less than satisfactory service? Would you like that to be your mum, your dad, your wife, your partner? Think of them in that scenario, and would you be happy about it? And if the answer is no, then do something about it.
Do you know what, I'm loving chatting to you. It's just, it's it's this passion that keeps us all really truly engaged, right? It's that. I think that's why you have a good time at work, because you show up and you have that expectation that everybody else will show up. And then when you put your whole self into something, it can't fail to engage you. You know, you're applying yourself. I know that it's got to have certain things that come back to you, but you're turning up, and I think that really, really shows. Now, Evelyn, we have a closing tradition on the EV Cafe Takeaway podcast. Ooh, one day we're going to put this into a podcast all of its own. Anyway, so it's very special, and it's just for you. It is the
Okay.
EV Cafe Magic Wand.
I've heard of this.
See, and someone's giving away our secrets. Terrible. But it's got a little lightning bolt on it, and it's coming to you. So here it comes. I hope you're
Hey,
ready.
Thank you. I'm
There
ready.
There it goes. Fantastic. So Evelyn, you are now in possession of the magic wand, and you can wish for anything. I mean, we have had, as I often reflect back on, the most standout one. So is a personal chef, but this person was in need of a personal chef. We've had world peace, so don't worry about world peace. World peace has been taken care of. But what would you wish for in the context of your life and your work?
Okay, so with this invisible magic wands,
No, it's not invisible. It's been passed. Oh yes, yeah, no, it
okay,
is.
yeah.
It is.
Doubting the credibility of the wand. Oh my lord.
I think you need to make it a bit more sparkly for when we're having like emails in the podcast environment.
Yeah, I'm
you
just
do know,
looking
like a
over-
bit of sparkle.
I'm looking over to Caroline's side of the office to see if there's anything that I can attach to it, but no.
The
Go on.
sparkliest thing in that room's you.
Yeah, so a personal chef sounds amazing, along with a personal sommelier.
Oh, see, right, that's it, everybody.
Come back.
Evelyn Tourish,
Come back
everybody, well
smellier than
done.
Paul.
As soon as it's still early. No, I think I mentioned it earlier on. My wish, and obviously from an EV perspective, is that the governments would all come together and really provide a solution for ultra fast charging right across the UK network, and making that a lot more accessible and financially viable for drivers of EV vehicles. Along with, I wish to get more views than Tim Morris.
We
can
shall
make
make
Not
that
that I'm
happen.
competitive. I'm competitive.
I love that. I was just about to shut the wish down and go, no, you can't have two wishes. But
Yeah,
that's a
I
good
think
one.
we-
We like the cheeky second one. Oh dear me. Well, John, I mean, I know Evelyn is an old friend of yours, but I've really enjoyed today. What about you?
I don't have very many people over to dinner. And I want you two in my house. I want you there
Aw.
because you seriously, Evelyn, you are that breath of fresh air that the industry needs some days. You know, everybody's going through tough times. We've seen recent announcements of job losses and companies pulling out of the UK in the EV market. You can't help but be enthusiastic about life, our industry, and what's possible after speaking with Evelyn Tourish. You are quite wonderful.
Oh, thank you. And can I just say that we could actually go over to JC's house right now because he's not going to be there, and we could raid his cupboards and see what Friday dinner's going to look like.
We'll have to hope that Heather's been to the shops because John doesn't drink, and we need Heather's wine supply.
Don't worry, mate. There's a full cupboard. Don't you worry.
Wonderful.
Excellent.
Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Listen, Evelyn, it has been. Sorry, I call you Evelyn, but it's Evelyn, isn't it? And it's silly me, but there we go. It's usually a
Evelyn
usual
or
mistake.
Evelyn.
Oh, okay, good. Well, there you go, everybody. You've learned that she'll answer to anything. Anyway, it's
Tim Morris said that, actually.
yeah, he did, yeah.
Not quite.
But Evelyn's gonna get more views because she wished to the EV
Tell you,
Cafe one.
We're going to push this podcast so hard, like you can't believe.
We won't need to, mate. We
Amazing.
won't need to. Evelyn's a star. And Evelyn is as well. So we have had a great time. If you've loved this, you've already heard we've got Tim Morris. Don't listen to Tim because that'll boost his views. Don't do that. But do listen to everybody else because there's some great insight from across all of the folk that we get to talk to. But as I'm sure you'll agree, send your personal thanks to Evelyn through LinkedIn and connect up with her. And obviously, if you're living in Scotland, well, actually, you look after the whole country now, right? For customer
I do
experience.
indeed, yes.
So if you've got a customer experience, positive thought, let's get good feedback because poor customer experience people always have to hear the bad stuff. Hear the good stuff, and share that with her. But in the meantime, head over to the evcafe.org. There's a great report out from Europcar. That's the company. Twice today, I've forgotten it. But we didn't talk about it, but it's an e-van report, a sustainable e-van report. So check that out. They did a fabulous job. It is, isn't it? And it really helps people to make that transition. So get over to the EV Cafe website and download that. And in the meantime, everybody, have a great day. Take care.